Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome to the Furman Softball Weekly Windup. I am Dan Scott with head coach Stacey Johnson-Whitfield, and this will be our final one of the season, unfortunately, because the season is over, but as we know, it's never really over. How are you?
I'm doing well.
You are either one of the most remarkable people that I've ever met or a glutton for punishment. Because given the option of what time to do this show, ever since we started it, you've chosen 9 a.m. on a Monday morning.
I think probably a little bit of both at this point.
But so that's when we're recording this, and of course it'll be out a little bit later on Monday. Whirlwind of a week for you, huh?
Oh, yeah. A lot of traveling, a lot of play, just getting things settled down from the season. It's been a very busy week. So
well, let's get to the biggest news, and we'll talk about the tournament and everything else later. But and I want it said for the record that since we started doing this show, I have never referred, and you can go back and watch all of the episodes, I've never referred to her as the interim head coach, even though that officially that's what she was. But I've never used that term. Mm-hmm. I've always called you Furman softball head coach Stacey Whitfield, and last week that was made official. The interim tag was removed.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I am very excited. This past year, I was talking to Jason Donnelly a lot about, like what we were looking for within the program, what he was looking for. He never strayed away from telling me that I was the one he wanted. It was just the fact of, obviously, things went very fast as I came into the program at all, and my position changed very quickly, and he wanted to make sure that this was something that I truly wanted and felt like I could balance my family and the things that I find very important in my life with this and still being able to do it and feel like I am not too strained. And the entire year, I think I made it very clear as the year was going on, this is what I wanted. But he was like, let's just go through the full year. Let's see. But I don't want to be anywhere else. So.
How nerve-wracking was that? It was like, come on, let's get it done, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really nerve-wracking. I mean, I just wanting it to be official was, I kind of felt like it was as if you're dating someone and you want to be engaged, but you like wait and you're like, I know it's coming and I know they want this also, but I knew all along, that Furman had my back and was behind me, and I knew that this is what I wanted. So I knew eventually it would come to this.
But now that it's official, that's got to help in so many different ways. First and foremost in recruiting, because now even though you were comfortable with the situation, Jason was comfortable with it. I think we all knew where it was headed. As long as that interim tag was still on there. Not that other coaches in recruiting would use that against you, but other coaches in recruiting could use that against you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's come up a lot, especially as the season went on and recruiting processes go on. A lot of times it would come up as, what does the interim mean? And I would tell them what Jason told me, but it's still there. So I felt like it was getting to be, just difficult to navigate, I guess, and also just people that you run into and other coaches you run into being like, hey, what's going on with the interim? Is it going to be taken off? And I'd be like, well, it should be, So it was a little difficult, but, I tried to stay with what I was told to say, which was that they weren't looking anywhere else, and I wasn't planning on going anywhere.
Well, we are just excited and ecstatic that it's been finally made official, even though, again, I think we all knew that that's where it was headed. But it has to be a bit of a relief, even though you knew that's where it was going, to finally have it done.
It is. I mean, it feels official now. I feel like I got the engagement ring on my finger.
Yeah.
I feel like, obviously as much as you go through the season, you're like, I know this is going to happen. This is going to happen. it definitely takes a toll after a little while because you just want it to be official and you want it gone.
You didn't have to sign the softball version of a prenup,
No,
did you?
no.
Since you're the one who brought up the imagery.
Yeah, no, I have not. No softball prenup. No.
And then we get to what I was joking with you right before we started this. We were talking about all the things that were going on this week, and I said, "Well, you wanted the job.
I did.
You asked for it, so here it comes, right?"
I know. This is a time of year I don't think anybody ever thinks about because you're kind of playing for your season, and you don't know when that's going to end, and a lot of time that's somewhere away from home. So you're kind of playing things out, and then as soon as that season may end, if you don't go into the postseason, it's right back home to the girls packing and getting flights because we have a lot from afar, and us having to do exit interviews and going through locker room checks and making sure equipment's there, and they had to be out by this morning from dorms and stuff. So it's very hectic and it's very mentally and emotionally straining this time of year. Plus, you're saying goodbye to people, that it's not forever, but it's still it finally hits.
It's the part of being a head coach collegiately, especially at this level, that most people wouldn't think about. They couldn't grasp.
No, you think the season's grueling on its own, but this is the time I say that within my short amount of experience that I don't like the most.
Yeah.
Because it's just very, it's a lot going on with a couple days, and it's stuff that sometimes it's hard conversations and saying goodbye and, processing the end of a season is a lot.
Season didn't end on Friday and you're on a lake somewhere on Saturday.
No,
that's not how it works, or whatever the timing is.
That would be great, though.
This is the Furman Softball Weekly Windup. It's our last episode of this season, and we hope you've enjoyed this. It's kind of a little bit of test run for a full run come the 2023 season. But we've enjoyed doing these and getting to know Stacey, and hope that you have, excuse me, as well, and getting to know a little bit about this program and how you've handled everything that's gone on from the moment that you took over. And people are going to look at your final record from the outside if they've not been watching this show. If you have, you understand. 22-33 and 8-10 in the league, and they'll say, "Oh, that's not really all that good." Mm-hmm. But the circumstances that we've tried to address each and every episode of this show that has led to that, where you came from to where you ended up, I think you saw some considerable progress.
Oh, yeah. Last year we didn't even make it into the tournament. We ended up being a 5 seed. This year in preseason, we were told that we were going to be second to last, and we ended up finishing 4th. And then going to the tournament, a lot of these girls, this is the very first tournament they've ever been at. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they mentally were prepared to play for your season. Like every weekend, every midweek is very important, but that tournament is just a different beast. It's anybody's game, and obviously whoever wins definitely gets into postseason. So I feel like it was a first dip of the toe in the water, but we had a lot of growth, and making it to Friday in the tournament and battling, was really good for us. It showed some heart. But I think it left them, wanting more. Mm-hmm. They kind of tasted it, and they were like, gosh, we are that close to make it to semis, like one game away,
Well, and to me, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I have my own opinions about travel ball, and some of it's good and some of it's bad. But one of the things that I think it goes to your point here is some of these young ladies on your team are experiencing the finality of a season for the first time, because in high school, when their high school season was over, they went into travel ball, and if they lost one travel ball tournament one weekend, well, there's another one the next weekend and the next weekend and the next weekend, all the way through college starts, and then you get into your fall ball and everything else. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of lost I hate to say it this way, but lost the pain of what losing feels like, and how to take that and turn it into a positive. Am I close here?
I mean, I could do a whole other show on my ideas of what travel ball's become and what it's missing now. I agree, but I think the other thing with travel softball over the years is they've also lost the idea of playing for something besides getting a scholarship. I
Right.
think they've lost kind of the idea of playing for something that you can be proud of. Like, for instance, when I was coming through travel ball, you wanted to be at the highest level of states during this. Like, that was your first goal, was to win state. And that's not really a goal anymore within the travel season.
It's all showcases.
Yes, it is. And everybody gets so many innings because everybody wants to be seen by this person, that person. They kind of lost their way on earning playing time. And they've lost at the end of a season. You played to win nationals. You wanted to be the best team in the nation. And I think that's kind of gotten lost too. So I think that some of especially our team, who's a younger team, they're kind of learning later than some other softball players were able to do earlier on with travel ball. They've kind of just started feeling that feel of, oh gosh, the season's really ending, or oh gosh, I really have to earn a spot, or any of that stuff. So I feel like that altogether has contributed to maybe late blooming a little bit.
And that's something else as a head coach now you have to negotiate, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is making them understand that nothing's going to be handed to you, making them understand that, hey, if we lose today, for some of you, this is going to be the last time you ever play this game.
Yes.
And that's something that they've never dealt with before.
Yeah. And there's no like tomorrow, during the season, you always kind of think of okay, well, we need to make these improvements. We'll improve by next weekend. But like I said, when you get to the tournament, it's not like that.
Right.
It's you win or you're done, so that's a very harsh look, but sometimes that's life too. And it's a lesson we have to learn,
Well, speaking of the tournament, in your first SoCon tournament as a head coach, you go 2-2. Varying results, obviously. A couple of good games, couple of games that obviously you'd like to have back. What was your overall assessment?
Like I said, it was the first time some of the girls I think actually all of them but two have ever been to the tournament. So there wasn't much, I think that to them it was also new, and there was no expectation because they didn't know what to expect. But I think after getting that first win and knowing that win actually puts you in a bracket to play somewhere else, or if you lose that game, it puts you down, and that could be your last game. I think each game they kind of felt something like, oh gosh, okay. So you either have to step up to the occasion, or you kind of sit there and go, as a young team. And I think that as we played, obviously our first game we battled, and we came out on top of that game, which was great because Mercer did take the series against us. So to come in and beat them was a great first win. Then we went against UNCG, and UNCG, we just completely struggled. I feel like at bat, obviously pitching, struggled a little bit that game too. But after losing that one and them knowing, oh God, now we have only one more loss and the season's over. I think that's when the whole team kind of was like, okay, this could be it, and we don't want it to be it. We want to keep playing. So we took that and went into playing Western, which we swept them over the season. But everybody knows you take the 3 games, it's hard to keep that going. It's not necessarily an easy win just because you beat them 3 times. But I felt like overall that was a huge team win for us. And we had the bottom of the lineup hitting. We had the top of the lineup hitting. Pitching, I mean, Sierra was definitely a champ during the tournament. She threw in every game, but I've been saying it all season, we needed another pitcher to kind of step up. And I think Emmy really came in and helped us shut them down, and we came out with the win, and that was a very exciting win for the girls. I think that was the changing point of them being like tasting a little bit of success in a way that could keep us moving, and they wanted that more. We came out against Sanford. Sanford's a tough team, but we didn't necessarily play defensively the way that we started to play throughout midseason to the end of season, and it kind of bit us in the butt. You're getting to the close to semis, you're playing the better teams, and every single play counts, and it really did kind of get away from us on the defense. But I felt like we tried to battle as much as we could. Sierra threw well, Emmy threw well enough to keep us in the game. but in situations like that, everything has to be on. And I've also said that through the season too. Everything has to be on: hitting, defense, pitching, for us to have a chance.
And the good teams, when an opponent opens the door by making a mistake, the good teams are going to walk through that door. They're going to take advantage of it.
They're taking advantage of it. Which is another struggle that we have to be more consistent on too. When other teams are starting to make mistakes, sometimes we would leave runners on. We wouldn't actually, get those runners in, which we have to do the same. And watching other teams do that, I'm hoping that we've learned that if other teams can do it, teams that we've beaten and we've played with, that we should be able to do that too.
This is the Furman Softball Weekly Windup, our final one of the 2022 season with now permanent head coach Stacey Johnson-Whitfield. The interim tag was removed officially. That came out over the weekend. So what was your challenge to your ladies when it was all said and done?
What do you mean? Like when we come back, or?
Yeah. What did you charge them with as they go off for their summer?
To take a couple weeks where you're going to let your body relax. We all need time to let our bodies kind of adjust and get back to being healthy. By the end of the season, you have a lot of things going on, aches and pains. Make sure you take care of yourself for a couple weeks, but then get right back on it, because this is just the beginning. This is a foundation. So if we allow ourselves to rest too long, or we allow ourselves to not focus and work on the quality of things that we have given each player to do, then you're not going to come back in the fall starting at a better point. You maybe come back in the fall starting where we ended or previous to that. So I think they're all very eager to do better and to see the team be better. So there's not a doubt in my mind that every single person on the team will take what we told them in exit meetings, go home, or some are staying here through the summer too, but to work and come in stronger mentally and physically in the fall to really start work.
Is there an opportunity for college softball players to go play somewhere in the summer like there is for college baseball?
Yes. There's a couple of little leagues. I think probably the most known one right now is the Florida Gulf Coast League. We had some players playing it last season, and they had a great time. We have a couple of players that I think are playing in it this season, and some haven't necessarily decided just yet. But that's a really good opportunity for players to play with other collegiate players. My volunteer assistant, Amanda Hayes, will be coaching. She's a head coach of one of the teams down there this summer. So it will be a great opportunity for her to learn also, and come back helping our program even more. But yeah, I think it's a very good opportunity for some of the girls who need the reps, especially I think Emmy might be doing it. She had the injury, came back, and right at the end of the season, I felt like she was getting in a groove, but then we're done. So I think it's good for someone like that to just keep competing so they're ready to go by the time fall hits.
So what's your off-season plan? What does your off-season look like?
My off-season looks like recruiting and getting maybe having conversations to get some field improvements and stuff like that, get the field where we want it. And also, obviously, being around my kiddos. When they get off, my oldest plays travel ball. So if I'm not on a field recruiting one weekend, I'll be on a field watching her play. I think we have a lot of work to still continuously do this summer to keep the momentum going to build the program the way we want.
On one hand, I get the idea that I can sense a little bit of you taking a breath, kind of like a sigh of relief because it's been a very hectic time. But on the other hand, I kind of get the idea that you wish you could just start 2023 right now.
Yeah, I mean it happens at the end of every season. Like you see things. I think once you get even a couple days to step away and you see where things have been going and what things, I feel like sometimes the clarity comes and then you get really excited to make adjustments and move and try new things, and talking in the exit meetings and really listening to the athlete, listening to them and what they liked, what they didn't necessarily love, and being able to take that and go, okay, that's great. That also makes me very excited because it means that I have them very interested in doing the things that they feel like will make the program better. But, also just wanting it to keep going and not lose the momentum that you've created that sometimes comes a little bit late in a season.
As we get set to wrap up, I ask one very, very deep question.
Okay.
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 Then I think I did this. On another show earlier, but you kind of get serious as a journalist and you lean in, right? What have you learned about yourself in this experience?
Oh gosh.
Your first year as a head coach and all of these things that have gone into it. What have you learned?
That I guess I've learned that I am more capable than I would have probably given myself credit for. Not necessarily, I would say, prior to family. As an athlete and it just being me, I always kind of had that eagerness and I always had that grit and that want and competitiveness and
Confidence.
leadership and confidence.
Yeah.
But after it kind of pulling away from it a little bit, I mean, I've been coaching continuously, but not team coaching. And giving that time to my children, which I would never take away for the world, and moving around a little bit with my husband's job, I feel like getting this opportunity to me was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to be a pitching coach in college. This is something I've always wanted. But then kind of having other people see something in me that made them think, no, she's more than that. She could be a leader of something and really turn something into, or turn Furman softball into something. And I was like, I mean, you kind of lose yourself through family and motherhood just a little, and being thrown into that and kind of like taking that and having the support of the team and having the support of Furman, and Jason and Jody and, all the people that were there in the beginning of it. I think I might have was like, God, these people are crazy. But now I see it too. And it was making me very excited to step back into shoes that just maybe were a little dusty, but I definitely feel like I am more than capable of leading this program and more than capable of leading these young women into life and showing them that, you can have the family, you can have the job. Like, I remember one of our last games, Natalie Morgan, one of our seniors, it was between games right after we beat UNCG, which was a huge win for us. And I was in the dugout, and in between games, I call my husband or my kids to let them know how the game went, even though they're still watching, because they want to hear from me.
Right.
So I was on the phone talking to my kids or my husband, and they're congratulating me on like this win and asking, and I'm sitting on a bucket and I'm writing the lineup and doing the dugout card with the lineup on it. And I get off them, and that's just regular to me. Like, it's like juggling the things all at once, when we were away. And Natalie Morgan looked at me and she was like, that's my coach. And I laughed. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, and she used some words that I can't put on here, but she was like, she was like in awe, she said, of like, I'm proof that you can be a boss and be, this head coach and still have my family very important and close to my heart and do it all. And she said that was inspiring to her. And I sat there and I was like, to me, that was normal, but to hear her say that really touched my heart, because I was like, gosh, this is great. Like, I'm showing them you can do all of that.
Well, I hope as you move forward in this job that perspective doesn't change, because your kids are always going to need a mom more than they need a coach. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, now they have a dugout full of big sisters.
Big sisters.
Yeah.
So
as long as you can strike that balance.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And that was one of the things I told the team when Jason announced the other day that I was permanently going to be the head coach. I thanked them because they gave my kids people to look up to and sisters. And, my kids love coming. They love being around the team. I think the team loves it just as much as they do. And there were some tears cried when there's seniors graduating. They don't think they're going to see them all the time, which I think is amazing. Mm-hmm. Amazing to have.
Well, I know as again, to use your words, it's been a whirlwind.
Yes.
Not just last week, but a whirlwind season. Will you take a little time to recharge before you hit the ground running with recruiting and all that stuff?
Yes, I will. Right now it's just getting things in order and planning the recruiting schedule and making sure we have all our ducks in a row. And then we have a dead period, a very short one for like a week amount of time. That will be the complete time off for summer for us. That's like a week and a half worth of time. That is just, don't pick up a phone. Don't talk about softball. We're not allowed to recruit. I'll be at the beach with my kids. Don't call me either. But there's definitely going to be that time, and there'll be times throughout the summer that we get a little bit of time off. But you know how that is.
Yeah, I understand. I understand, and I know how hard it is in a position like that to make yourself take that time, because even though it's mandated, that doesn't mean you can always turn it off up here.
Oh, yes. I know. I have to. My kids are actually great about telling me to stop and put the phone down and don't answer. So they're my phone police when I have time off.
And usually it's the other way around, right? Usually it's the parents who are the phone police. I love it. Well, listen, I have really enjoyed this. I'm glad we got a chance to start doing this a few weeks back, and looking forward to a full 2023 season and seeing how this program continues to move forward.
Me too. I've very much enjoyed talking to you. So,
well, I hope fans and players and parents and everyone else have enjoyed this as well. We always love comments. My email address is dan.scott@furman.edu, dan.scott@furman.edu, or if you're a parent, you know how to get a hold of this lady. But we appreciate feedback and look forward to doing it all again come 2023. And in the fall, inside Furman Athletics, she'll be a guest, and we'll be keeping folks updated as to the progress. Go have a great summer.
Thank you. I will.
That'll do it for us. That is Stacey Johnson-Whitfield. I am Dan Scott, as always, saying God bless you, and so long, everybody.